The rain poured relentlessly against the city skyline as a black luxury car pulled up outside a small, time-worn cafe. Inside, a woman sat alone. Her hands wrapped around a chipped coffee mug. Eyes lost in thought, staring at the street like she was waiting for something, or someone. Moments later, the cafe door opened. The bell above it jingled softly, and a tall man in a sharp suit stepped in. His eyes searched, then froze, landing on her. 5 years had passed, but her face hadn't left his memory for even a day. And as he took a step closer, every buried emotion, love, guilt, regret, came flooding back. "Emma," he whispered. She didn't look up. Not yet. Not after everything he had done. But his next gesture, one quiet, heartbreaking act, would shatter 5 years of silence between them. And remind both that love, once true, never really dies. 5 years earlier, Ethan Cole was the man everyone envied. A self-made millionaire, owner of a real estate empire, living a life most people only dreamt of. But success had come with a price. His marriage to Emma had crumbled under the weight of ambition. Late nights, endless meetings, missed anniversaries. He had convinced himself he was doing it for her, for them. But in reality, he was building walls she couldn't climb. Emma was an artist, gentle, passionate, and grounded. She never wanted wealth, she wanted presence. She wanted to share quiet dinners, to feel heard, to be loved without schedule. But Ethan had drifted too far, and one evening, when she softly said, "I can't do this anymore," he didn't stop her. He thought time would bring her back. It didn't. In those 5 years, Ethan's wealth grew, but so did the emptiness inside him. Every morning, he'd wake up to a penthouse view of a city that once represented his dreams. Now it was just glass and silence. Emma, on the other hand, had rebuilt her life in a small town. She worked at a community art center, teaching children to paint. It wasn't glamorous, but it was peaceful. Or at least, she told herself that, until one afternoon, a letter arrived. It wasn't from him. It was from the hospital. Ethan's mother, the only woman who ever treated Emma like family, was in critical condition. And before she lost consciousness, she whispered one wish. "I just want to see Emma one last time." Emma went. She couldn't deny the woman who had loved her like her own. She didn't expect Ethan to be there, but he was, standing in the hallway, looking thinner, tired, and nothing like the man she once knew. Their eyes met, and 5 years collapsed into a single, painful heartbeat. They barely spoke. The hospital walls were heavy with memories and regrets. But when Ethan's mother passed peacefully 2 days later, Emma stayed through the funeral. Quietly, respectfully, then disappeared again. Until today. Today, he had found her. He didn't come to beg. He didn't come to explain. He came with something in his hand, a small, worn-out sketchbook. The one she had left behind when she walked out of his life. Ethan stood before her in that small cafe, heart pounding like it used to when he first fell in love. She still hadn't looked up, pretending to be lost in her coffee. He took the seat across from her, the air between them thick with everything unsaid. 5 years, he began softly. That's a long time to stay silent. Emma finally lifted her gaze. Her eyes were calm but guarded. Sometimes silence says what words can't. He nodded slowly, accepting her quiet strength. "I didn't come here to fix what I broke," he said. "I came to return something that never belonged to me." He placed the old sketchbook on the table. Its leather edges were frayed, the pages bent from use. Her eyes widened slightly. You kept this." "I never threw it away," Ethan said, his voice cracking. "Every time I tried, something stopped me. It reminded me of who I used to be before the money. Before I lost sight of what mattered." She touched the cover gently, like it was a piece of her soul. Inside were sketches of their early days. Her art, his laughter, their home, dreams they built together. And then, something else. She flipped the page, and froze. A new sketch, drawn by him. It wasn't perfect. The lines were rough, the shading uneven. But it showed her, sitting by the window painting. The caption below said, "If I ever find the courage, I'll tell her I never stopped loving her." Her eyes filled with tears she didn't want to shed. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I don't expect forgiveness. he said, his own eyes misting. I just wanted you to know. The silence wasn't because I forgot. It was because I didn't know how to face what I'd done. For the first time, Emma didn't turn away. She saw the man she once knew. Broken, remorseful, human. He took a deep breath and slid an envelope across the table. This is for you. She frowned, hesitant. What is it? It's a donation, he said. To the art center where you teach. Enough to keep it running for the next 10 years. You once told me art saves people. I want to help you save them. Her hands trembled as she held the envelope. She didn't say a word. Ethan stood to leave. Goodbye, Emma. Thank you for once loving me. He turned to walk out. But before he reached the door, her voice stopped him. Ethan. He turned. Tears streamed down her face. But her smile was the same one he remembered. Would you stay for a coffee? He froze, his heart aching with quiet disbelief. Then slowly, he nodded. He walked back, sat down, and for the first time in 5 years, they talked. Not as strangers, not as broken lovers, but as two souls who finally found the courage to forgive. Sometimes, love doesn't end. It just pauses, waiting for two hearts to be ready again. And forgiveness isn't about forgetting what hurt you. It's about freeing yourself to feel peace again. Because when you let go of pride, and lead with kindness, miracles happen.